coalition of U.S. rights groups, U.S. for Global Democracy, ABBA Groups, Amnesty International, Global Peace Foundation, American Association for Justice, has nominated Justice Nweze for Judicial Award in the United States for exhibiting an extraordinary character, standing out and demonstrating an uncommon feat with his minority judgment at the Abuja Supreme Court on the 3rd of March 2020. The nomination and award, according to Reuters, is presented annually to persons who exhibit exceptional qualities of civility, courtesy and professionalism in their legal or judicial careers towards not only colleagues and litigations, but the public at large. The award may also be presented to a person or organization who promotes civility and professionalism in the legal profession. This Justice Nweze has qualified. It will be recalled that Justice Nweze, in his dissenting judgment, asked the court to set aside the January 14th judgment that removed Ihedioha from office, describing it as a nullity and in a bad faith. He also nullified the declaration of Hope Uzodinma of the All Progressives Congress (APC) as governor on account of wrong declaration, and held that Uzodinma misled the court into unjust conclusion with the unverified votes in 388 polling units. In his declarative judgment, he said, "This decision of the Supreme Court will continue to haunt our electoral jurisprudence for a long time to come." He said, "In my intimate reading of the January 14th judgment, the substance of Ihedioha's matter was lost to time frame. This court once set aside its own earlier judgment and therefore cannot use time frame to extinguish the rights of any person. This court has powers to overrule it and can revisit any decision not in accordance with justice. This court has a duty of redeeming its image. I am of the view that this application should succeed. I hereby make an order setting aside the decision of this court made on January 14th and that the certificate of return issued to the appellant is returned to INEC. I also make an order restoring the respondent as winner of the March 9 governorship election." In another development, the United States Congressman Rep. Chris Smith, a ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee's Subcommittee on Africa and co-chair of the Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission, says the world was disappointed by the Nigeria Supreme Court when it did not reconsider its previous controversial ruling with respect to the gubernatorial election in Imo State that sacked Emeka Ihedioha as governor. Mr. Smith, representing the city of New Jersey in the United States House of Representatives, said the judgment related on Tuesday, 3rd March 2020 is in contrast to justice. Nobody will take Nigeria judiciary serious again. The judgment is full of flaws and embodiments of shame. Very surprising, embarrassing to the entire Supreme Court world. The judgment was without emphasis on their jurisdiction. It shows high level of recklessness, carelessness, and nonchalant attitude towards a true justice system. He expressed concern over the Nigerian Supreme Court and the danger of eroding constitutional safeguards with what the Apex Court has done, and for not doing the right thing in the review of Imo. A Supreme Court panel of 7 justices had in that judgment sacked Mr. Ihedioha of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) as governor and replaced him with Hope Uzodinma of the All Progressives Congress (APC), who finished poorly in 4th position and whose party did not win one seat in the State House of Assembly. That grotesque decision, which sparked out protests across the nation and globally, has made the Apex Court to come under immense fire, with majority of Nigerians, senior lawyers and civil societies condemning the decision seen by many as absurd. The congressman frowned at erosion of the independence of the judiciary in Nigeria. He said, "Nearly a year ago, both the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria and I sounded the warning that President Muhammadu Buhari's suspension and removal of the then Chief Justice and elevation of a unpicked successor threatened judicial independence and also undermined confidence that electoral dispute would not be adjudicated fairly, and now this is the outcome. Mr. Smith, however, added that the Supreme Court did not rule with integrity, pointing out that it has failed in its constitutional role as a firewall against unbridled federal executive power and helping to preserve constitutionalism and democracy in Nigeria. That is the order now. I fear for Nigeria democracy, he asserted. Wow. It's not a new thing. Everybody saw what happened, but it's just a matter of a grandstanding. The court said they cannot unturn their own decision. For the fact that you have made mistakes, you are not God. And just like the lawyer of Ehedia was saying, trying to, on a lighter note, that even God himself, even when he has said something about somebody, and maybe if you have offended God, God can still forgive you, let alone human being. But all of those things fell to deaf ears. But you can imagine this man stood out, Justice Nweze, and he has been sounding like a broken record that this thing is not the right thing. This thing is not the right thing. But some of the APC apologists are like, oh, when it happened in Bayelsa State, what did they say? But it goes beyond that. This is a clear case. It is not that you are using pot or raw Peter. Oh, because it happened there, then it has to happen here. No. Everything must be seen as being treated truthfully, not that because of sentiment and what have you. Yes, it happened to these people. Yes, it has to happen like this. No. And like always, people always saying, oh, when it comes to PDP always saying, oh, there is a democracy is on fire and what have you. But when it favors them, they won't say anything. And they always go all around to be saying, oh, we don't want these judgments. We are not agreeing with these judgments. If you as APC party, you feel that you don't want to review anything or you don't want to stand against any judgment, maybe because you've accepted that you've wronged in the first place, just like the case of Bayelsa, they went there and they made mockery of themselves because their own internal affairs, they didn't take care of their own internal affairs, and they brought it to the limelight and made it known to everybody that they rule with impunity. And at the end of the day, they want to compare it with what happened in Imo State. So the whole world is saying, let them continue covering what is not and let them continue to be economical with the truth. And it's just unfortunate that this present government, they are bringing and exposing themselves to the whole world. And the rate at which they condemn the former administration, but now they are doing worse. We are seeing double dose of those things they condemned the former administration about. They are even doing worse. So who is deceiving who? The issue of integrity is no longer there. The issue of talk of anything you can think of, it's no longer there. And Nigeria now are becoming so used to abnormalities. Abnormalities now is not the order of the day. Nobody cares again. It's like people are like, what is really happening? People don't even know. They don't even know what to say. Like what is happening now, people could not take half of what is happening now. During the time of Jonathan, you could see that everybody was coming out, protest upon protest upon protest. Those people who were protesting, we thought that they really, or they are so patriotic and what have you. Majority of them cannot come out because they have been intimidated somehow in one way or the other. Some of them, they've been given appointments, and because they are observing table manner, just like we always say, when you are eating, you don't talk. So they don't talk, they don't say anything. Some people are as a result of fears. So it's very unfortunate. And people have been saying that this Justice Nweze, has written his name, for the whole world to see when it comes to integrity. And he stands by what he said, which everybody understands. But the judiciary, because I don't know what they are trying to protect. Yes, they've discredited themselves by doing all of this, which is very, very unfair. Someone says that means the world is watching. Of course, that judge stood out as a lone voice in the wilderness of injustice. Now he has been singled out for honor. May Lord Justice C.C. Nweze exhibited uncommon courage in standing alone in this dissecting judgment in Uzodimma versus Ihedioha. It takes justices like Chukwudife Akune Opute, Kayode Eso, Nikki Toby, Lord Denny, etc. to stand alone despite majority view to the contrary. Admin Lord Justice Mary Ukweze Peter Odili found herself in Justice Nweze's shoes Assuredly, she would have stood alone too. At least the presence of their lordships, May Lord Justice Odili and Justice Nweze, still leaves hope for the Apex Court. Apex Court. Justice Nweze deserves the award in the US. God bless you, Sir Nweze. You have written your name in gold. Very excellent, Justice Nweze. Fighting injustice is a good job. But some people don't know that. They believe that the uh temporary praises is what they will need, but they don't know that it will going to haunt them for the rest of their lives. And at the end of the day, when they talk about the injustice going on in judiciary, corruption going on, the whole world is seeing. You can imagine the way they've been described, and they think, oh, forget them, they will just talk and go. It goes beyond that. It goes beyond that. Now this man has been singled out for honor. Is it not more than? Is it not what? Is it not more than what they themselves they think they are trying to protect? Because in my opinion, the Supreme Court didn't protect anything, rather than it's discredited itself the more. So guys, let us hear your opinions concerning this. Leave your comments below and let's have your take. Thank you very